don't worry. It's finished. It's over. Come here. Let me give you a cuddle. Well done. You've survived the first international break of the new season, but don't worry. Premier League football is back. Give yourself a pat on the back. Saying that, it was quite a good international break for Scotland. A point away to Denmark. We beat Belarus. 4 points from our opening 2 games. Fingers crossed we can get to our first World Cup since 1998. It's the next international break. That's the big one for us. So I'm a little bit nervous about it already. But anyway, international break. Woof. It's over. It's in the past. We're looking ahead to the Premier League weekend. Premier League football is back. And we've got a big fixture this weekend that I didn't even know was happening. On Sunday, we've got the Manchester Derby. Manchester City against Manchester United. I didn't even know about it. Usually, there's a massive build-up to this game. However, there still could be. I'm just unaware of it. I don't really tune into Sky Sports or anything anymore, so I'm possibly missing the build-up, but I didn't even know this fixture was taking place this weekend until I wrote down the fixtures to get all my random stats and facts for you guys on this video. I thought, oh, Man City play Man U. Feels like a big fixture. Didn't even know about it. Anyway, welcome to the Tartan Geo Premier League prediction and preview show where I like to see you guys get involved in the comments, giving me your predictions. And a couple of weeks ago, quite a few of you did that, but there's one overall winner. What way am I going? That way. Hlim, well done. Congratulations. You scored 10 points correctly, predicting Chelsea would beat Fulham 2-0. You had Man U down for a win. You had Sunderland down for a win. You had Everton for a win away to Wolves. You correctly predicted the 0-0 at Ellen Road. Quite a few subscribers had that game down for 0-0. So well done to you all. And you also said that Liverpool would beat Arsenal in that big game at Anfield. 10 points for you. A couple of people had 9 points. And this is your prize. A shout out by a random Scottish guy on YouTube. But well done, Hlim. And I'd like to see as many of you guys get involved this week. So in the comments below, top comment is by myself. It's got all the fixtures. Copy, paste. Just give me your score prediction. It's just a bit of fun. It's nothing too serious. No one's checking it. Well, actually, I am. Next week, I'll be checking it just to see who the overall winner is. Anyway, shall we get into it? I think so. Arsenal against Nottingham Forest. All eyes on the away dugout for this one. Ange Postecoglou taking charge of his first game in what was, shall we call it, eyebrow-raising circumstances. Nuno had talked himself into this sack, but is Postecoglou the right man for Nottingham Forest? That's the big question. Now, we're not going to get the answer on Saturday, but I think what we are going to get is entertainment. I am very intrigued as to see how Nottingham Forest get on under Postecoglou, especially on Saturday. It feels a bit too soon for it to be full-on Ange. So is he just going to do what Nuno usually does? Is he going to be a little bit conservative and try and play counter-attacking football? I would argue we've seen a bit of that from Spurs in the Europa League final against Man U. I thought they sat back quite a lot in that game because the new Man U weren't very good. He had his first choice defence. So it was like, we'll just keep the clean sheet. It worked. So is he going to do that? Or are we going to see full-on Postecoglou? Is he going to try and make a statement? So we're going to see a much more open, free-flowing attacking football from Nottingham Forest, which will mean high line. And I have severe doubts over Milenkovic being suitable for Postecoglou football. I think Murillo will be okay. I think the fullbacks will be fine. It's just Milenkovic in particular. Him defending on the halfway line gives me... Do you know what I mean? I'm just not sure he's cut out for it. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing this game. There's just a lot of intrigue from me towards Nottingham Forest under Postecoglou. As for Arsenal, I had a look to see how they got on against Spurs last season. That's what I'm going to be doing for the next few games for Forest. Looking to see how Spurs got on against them because of Postecoglou. Arsenal won both fixtures. I struggle to see that changing. So I'm going to say Arsenal 3, Nottingham Forest 1. But I'm quite excited for this game, actually. Right, off to the 3 p.m. games on Saturday. Before I do, I've just got a little bit more admin. Just give me a couple of minutes, please. Because I've got to say a massive thank you to 2 people. Quiz, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, the donation on the channel. He was commenting on me ranking every club's transfer window. He said, great vid, hard to disagree. The winners for him was Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea. And he didn't think that Fulham, Leeds and Brentford had a good enough transfer window. But Quiz, thank you for the £5. Massive help. And also a huge thank you. This has blown my head. I haven't replied to him because I don't know what to say. Laburo, thank you very much for the £50 super chat, which is just incredible. I'm going to give a little bit of context around the comment. I do a podcast. I've got a West Ham channel, which most of you will know, but over on that West Ham channel, we do a podcast about the channel. And on Saturday, I did the video ranking every team's transfer window. So Mrs. Gio, prior to Saturday, said, can you take Saturday off? It's international break. Can you not do any work on Saturday? So I'll just do one video for Tartan Gio and that's it. And she went, okay then. Got a bit of a row because I prepared my video, recorded a video, which was over an hour long, edited it, uploaded it, thumbnail. It took me about 3 hours to do the video in total. So she thought I'd be away for about an hour or two. I was gone for 3. So I got it in the neck. And obviously, because the channel is quite small, the video earned £3. So she was like, hang on a minute, you've spent 3 hours to earn £3. What? Why would you do that? But I'm trying to explain to him, trying to grow the channel. I'd like to generate more revenue from the channel. So that Laburo's listened to the podcast, and that's the context around it. Hopefully it justifies doing the video with Mrs. Gio. It does. Thank you very much. Thank you to Laburo and Quiz. YouTube give you your channel statistics over a 28-day period. I've earned £197 over the last 28 days on this channel. And £55 has come from those two people in particular. So they are responsible for more than 25% of the revenue on this channel in the last 4 weeks. A massive thank you. And thank you to everyone for your support. Right then. No more admin, I promise you. It's just football talk from now on. Bournemouth against Brighton. Two teams that did not want the international break to come. I think there's quite a few teams that didn't want the international break. Those two in particular. Bournemouth beating Spurs just before the break, and Brighton beating Manchester City. One team that I've seen play all 3 games so far in Bournemouth. The other team I've not seen play at all in any of the 3 games. I've liked what I've seen from Bournemouth so far this season. They are one of the better teams that I've seen play, and one of the more impressive teams. One of the teams I look forward to watching play as well as a neutral. Brighton, however, beat Bournemouth both occasions last season 2-1 in both fixtures. However, João Pedro did score 2 of those 4 goals. So it's a difficult one for me to gauge. I'm expecting goals in this fixture, but because I've not seen Brighton, I don't have a strong opinion for this one. I struggled to trust them last season. I found them quite inconsistent at times. And this season, I'm looking at the fixtures so far. You know, an underwhelming draw against Fulham. And then they got beat. And then they've gone in, beat Manchester City. It feels very Brighton. I don't know how to describe it. But for this one, I'm going to say Bournemouth 2, Brighton 2. Goals at that game. 2 other teams that wouldn't have wanted the international break to come as Crystal Palace take on Sunderland. Palace thumping Aston Villa before the break, and Sunderland getting that what feels like an important win against Brentford. However, I've got a couple of random facts and stats for you, right? Crystal Palace have lost just 1 of their last 16 games against newly promoted teams, winning 10 of them, and they're unbeaten in their last 9 Premier League fixtures, obviously stretching back to last season. But in between those 9 games, they've won the FA Cup and they won the Community Shield against Liverpool as well. So it's quite an impressive run, quite an impressive few months from Crystal Palace. As for Sunderland, they could be the 3rd team to do something. Only 2 teams in the history of the Premier League, only 2 newly promoted teams have won 3 of their opening 4 games. Sunderland, of course, have won 2 of 3, so they win at Selhurst Park. They will become only the 3rd newly promoted team to win 3 of 4. I'm not sure they will, though. I think we're going to see 2 different versions of Sunderland this season. I think the Stadium of Light is going to be important. I think we're going to see Sunderland at home, where they will be a tough team to beat, and I think that's where they'll pick up the majority of the points. Away from home, albeit we've only seen them play on the road once, but it was a very underwhelming performance and bad result away to Burnley. So I'm going to say Crystal Palace 2, Sunderland 0. Off to, as I say, Goodson Park. It's not Goodson Park, it's the Hill Dickinson Stadium, Bramley-Moore Docks, the Everton Stadium, the new Everton Stadium. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I know Hill Dickinson's the formal name. I don't like it. Bramley-Moore? Maybe I'll just call it the Bramley-Moore Stadium. I think maybe that's what I'll just call it. Anyway, Everton are at home to Aston Villa. And Everton, you thought the last stats were random. Everton could be just the 3rd Premier League team to win their first 2 home games in their new permanent stadium. Feels like it should be more than that, but they would just be the 3rd team to do it. I guess not every team's got a new stadium, have they? Man U don't have a new stadium. Chelsea don't have a new permanent home. They've obviously improved it. They've obviously built new stands, but they don't have a new permanent home since being in the Premier League. So I guess that sort of sways it a little bit, doesn't it? Aston Villa, though. Right, so everything's been impressive this season so far. Jack Grealish has been very impressive this season so far up against his former club. Aston Villa have not. They've not scored a goal yet. Now, I've seen them play quite a bit, actually. And I feel like they've done all right in games. While the statistics would suggest they're crap and they're not creating much, I think they are actually creating chances. They just haven't stuck them away. Feels like I say pressure. You don't want to go 4 games without scoring a goal, do you? I think you'll get away with the first 3 because it's such a chaotic part of the season with the transfer window still open. But after the first international break, it feels like everything's a bit settled now, so let's see what you've got. So I think there was a wee bit of pressure on Aston Villa, but they did sign the likes of Harvey Elliott and Sancho. Now, I'm not so keen on the Sancho signing, but I do rate that Elliott signing quite a lot. I think he could be such a big signing. A bit like Grealish to Everton. So I'm going to say Everton 1, Aston Villa 1. Fulham take on Leeds. Now, Fulham haven't won in their opening 3 games, but I feel like there's been a lot of controversy around Fulham so far. That draw to Man United felt they got mugged off with the penalty and then the goal. Then against Chelsea, they got their goal disallowed, which the PGMOLs come out and said, oh, actually, it should have stood. Well, what good does that do, right? What's the point? It was fairly obvious it should have stood. VAR got involved when it shouldn't have done. The referee should have stuck to his decision, but didn't. There was a whole host of errors. Chelsea then go on to win the game. Then after the game, they say to Fulham, oh yeah, your goal should have stood. What's the point? What good is that? Plus, there was a controversial penalty awarded to Chelsea as well. Fulham, it's 3 games in. Fulham have been mugged off big time by officials already. I feel a bit sorry for them. Leeds, however, could be a good team for them to play. Just 1 goal in 3 games. Saying that, they've got more points than Fulham, but they scored less goals. But they've only got the 1 goal, and it came from a penalty as well. I worry for Leeds in terms of that front part of their team. There doesn't feel like there's a lot of goals in that front 3 or front 5 if you want. You want to include the substitutes as well. A hard-working team. I think they'll be trying to keep clean sheets. I think they'll be hard to break down at times. I'm just not sure they've got that goal threat. I am worried for Leeds. I'm going to say Fulham 1, Leeds United 0. Newcastle against Wolves, 2 of the 4 teams. 4 teams are yet to pick up a win in the Premier League so far this season. 2 of them come head-to-head at St James's Park. But the good news for Newcastle, there's potentially good news for Wolves as well, but the good news for Newcastle is they've got 2 strikers. They've got 2 strikers. The last game didn't have any. Now they've got 2. Well, Osula was there. They've got 2 now. Wissa, Woltemad, they're there, signed, fit, ready to play. I say fit. Wissa's not had a pre-season. Well, he has, but he's been training on his own. He's not been participating in any friendlies. So you'd imagine Woltemad will be the one that starts and Wissa's on the bench. Good options for Eddie Howe, though. So that's good news. The potential good news for Wolves is that Stan Larsson, who obviously was subject to bids from Newcastle United, should be fit for this one. If they keep Pin fit, he's one of those players. If he's fit, they've got a chance. Right? He's the goal scorer. They've got a chance. He's a good goal scorer too. But I'm just not sure about this one. This could be tough for Wolves. 3 defeats so far. Yeah, saying that, they've not played badly. I didn't think they were bad against City. I didn't think they were bad against Bournemouth. I didn't see their game against Everton. They obviously beat us in the Carabao Cup, but they weren't good in that game. They just brought Larsson on and that happened. Newcastle United 2, Wolves 0. West Ham United against Spurs. My team against Spurs. Now, weird one. Tottenham haven't won at the London Stadium since November 2019. So it's been a little while, nearly 6 years since the last one at West Ham's ground. It's hard to feel confident. We also got a really good win and it was a good performance against Nottingham Forest. Obviously, it feels like it's been demoted a little bit because of what's happened with Nuno. But Nuno hasn't been sacked because of that result. He's possibly been sacked because of some of the results, but I don't think it's that's the reason he's got sacked. I don't think Nuno's got the boot because of the results. He's got the boot because his comments. You can't just publicly start saying things like that. It felt like he's manufactured his accent. It wasn't necessarily because of what happened on the pitch. It felt like it was heavily sort of motivated by what happened off the pitch. So I don't think our results should be looked down upon because the manager's been sacked. It was still a really solid performance away to a really good team in Nottingham Forest with a fantastic 10 minutes that we scored 3 goals in. And I think we are one of those teams that needed the next game. We needed to play Spurs last weekend during the international break because they just got beaten by Bournemouth. And when I say got beaten by Bournemouth, they got ripped apart by Bournemouth. Bournemouth were the best team from start to finish. They were all over Spurs. And there's a bit of me that says we're going to win. And I hate it because that's hope. And I think when you get hope, you can then have... When we played Nottingham Forest, I was expecting a defeat. So when we won, it was even more fun and more enjoyable. But when you have hope, you can then have disappointment. I'm going to go with my head and not my heart. I'm going to say West Ham 1, Spurs 1, which 3 of the last 4 games at the London Stadium between these two teams have finished 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1 in this game. Obviously, it feels a bit like the Mohamed Kudus derby. I'll be honest with you, from a West Ham fan's perspective, I'm not that arsed. Kind of forgotten about him. I'll play up to it in videos, I'll make jokes and stuff, but that's just for the comedy error, which is debatable. For the joking, fun element. Anyway, we've got a late game on Saturday. That's a 5:30 game. We've got an 8 o'clock game. It's Brentford against Chelsea. Brentford just 1 win so far this season. It's been a tricky start for Keith Andrews. I think the jury's still out. I think a lot of neutrals are confident it won't work out. And I think there's a lot of Brentford fans confident or optimistic perhaps that it will work out. 3 games isn't enough to judge it on. We also got an important result at home at the G-Tech Stadium, but 2... The defeat away to Sunderland in particular felt like losing away to Nottingham Forest. There's no shame in that, but losing away to Sunderland felt like quite a big result and a cross on his sort of report card as a head coach for the first time. As for Chelsea, 2 wins and 1 draw. They've obviously got the Champions League coming up. European football is back already. It's hard not to see anything other than an away win here. I'm going to say Brentford 1. I think they'll score. I do like Thiago. From what I've seen from Thiago so far, I'm a big fan of. It's clear why he's brought me in. I'm waiting for Shad to kick into action a little bit. I'm a fan of Shad, waiting for him to do something. Obviously, Otara started quite brightly at Brentford as well. So I think they've got attacking threat. It's just... I'm not so sure they've got that solid organisation that they had under Thomas Frank. So I'm going to say Brentford 1, Chelsea 2. Moving on to Sunday, we've just got the 2 games. Burnley take on Liverpool. And they've been quite unlucky, Burnley, I think. I think they had even though they got beat 3-0 by Spurs, I think there was a bit of spirit there and there was a bit of hard work, a bit like Wolves against Man City on the opening day of the season. And then they beat Sunderland, which was a big result. And then at Old Trafford, I think they got mugged off a little bit. Conceded, the 3-2 in the 96th minute, I think it was, Man U scored. Still some... I think it maybe, if I'm being honest, I think it was a pen. I do feel like the foul continued into the box. I think he just held, was it Anthony that was holding on to his shirt? I think he just held on to it for literally 1 second too long. Had he let go a second beforehand, I think the foul would have stopped outside the box. But it certainly started outside the box, but I think it continued into it. So I think I can get why the pen was given. But you can still feel like Burnley were just hard done by in that game. And I had that feeling that Burnley were just unlucky. And I feel like they deserve to come away from something at Old Trafford. Liverpool, though, I don't think they've been at their best, but they've still won 3 games. And 3 tough fixtures as well. Bournemouth, Newcastle, Arsenal. Not an easy start. 9 points on the board. Loads of goals scored. Yet it still feels like they are playing at 80% or something. It's hard to see anything other than an away win here. But I don't trust Liverpool at the back. Or in particular, Konate, I don't trust him. So I'm going to say Burnley 1, Liverpool 3. Off to that Manchester derby that I didn't know was happening this weekend. Man City, they're also not purring, are they? But here's the difference. Liverpool, not great, 9 points. Man City, not great. 3 points? How much points did Man City? They beat Wolves, got beat by Brighton. Who did it play in the middle? I'm going to have to look it up. I apologise for this, ladies and gentlemen, but I like to speak facts on this show. Obviously not my opinion. That's opinion-based. Let me have a little look here. Where's Man City? They've got 3 points. They did get beat. Tottenham, of course it was. It was that performance against Spurs. They got ripped apart, didn't they? All right, so 1 win so far. But my point is, Liverpool, not great, 9 points. Man City, not great, 3 points. Significant difference. And I think sometimes at the end of the season, that's the difference between the champions and the Champions League qualifying teams. Man U, though, an impressive defeat. I don't know, this. Hopefully those that watch the game know what I'm going to say here. An impressive performance whilst they got beat against Arsenal in the opening game of the season. Not good against Fulham. Not good against Burnley. Got knocked out of the cup by Grimsby. They just still look bad. They do, don't they? They've got in Bournemouth, got in Cunha, got in Sesko. They've now got their goalkeeper in, and they still look bad. Now, hopefully with Lemon starting, they'll start to improve. Hopefully Sesko will start a game soon, and that'll start to help things out a little bit. But I need to see evidence before I can start expecting Man United to improve. And out of the teams that won before the international break, I think Man U were possibly the only team that won, and the international break came at a good time. I think sometimes, a win can sort of paper over cracks. I think Man U beating Burnley was a little bit of that. No one came away thinking, hey, Man U have cracked it, haven't they? No, came away thinking, Man U are cracking. It's already 3 games in, they're already looking like, whoa, this ain't trustworthy. Manchester City 3, Manchester United 2. Man U won 1 and drew 1 against Man City last season, so they got 4 points from 6 against Man City. But I'm sorry, even though City haven't been great, I just trust Man U even less than I trust Man City, so I'm going to go for the Man City win. But now I want to know what you guys think, so in the comments below, please do copy and paste the 10 fixtures, give me your score predictions, and one of you will be getting a shout out from a random Scottish guy chatting nonsense, just like Hlim did this week. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Please do show your support for the channel by dropping a like on the video, by clicking the thumbs up button. Also, subscribe if you're new to Tartan Geo and you quite enjoyed what you've seen, and I'll catch up with you in a bit.